Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.
Hello and welcome to IBM Presents The Leaders Code, a series aimed at bringing senior executive teams from India's prominent corporations to uncover their leadership code and showcase how they are guiding their organization's transformation journey. In this edition, the spotlight is on the leadership team from Canara Bank. Let us join my colleague Ritu Singh, who's in conversation with the leaders from Canara Bank and IBM.
In the last few years, digital innovation has been the driving force for the banking and the financial institutions, with a focus on customer convenience, accessibility, and system performance. Now, both customers and employees, as well as regulators, are embracing the reliability, the convenience, and the efficiency that comes along with digital financial services. And this has prompted financial institutions to refocus their digital and data transformation initiatives, not only to cope up with the new socially distant reality, but to also tap into a new digitization momentum. Now, welcome to Leaders Code in partnership with IBM, a special series that is going to span across moneycontrol.com, CNBC-TV18, as well as Forbes India. Today, we're going to take a look at another banking institution which has its own legacy and its own command in the market. All banks have been challenged at various levels over the past 24 months, and they have been able to weather the storm even as they continue to grow. But Canara Bank has been able to demonstrate to the industry, to the clients and the shareholders why it remains one of India's most premier banks even today. Let me introduce our special guests for today, starting with Mr. L.B. Prabhakar, the Chairman and Managing Director at Canara Bank, Mr. Debashish Mukherjee, Executive Director, Mr. Satyanarayana Raju, Executive Director, Mr. Brij Mohan Sharma, Executive Director at Canara Bank again. To my right, Mr. Sandeep Patel, Managing Director of IBM India South Asia region. We also have with us Mr. A.V. Rama Rao, the Chief General Manager and Chief Risk Officer at Canara Bank, Mr. S.K. Majumdar, the General Manager and Chief Financial Officer at Canara Bank, Mr. Atul Kumar, General Manager of IT at Canara Bank, and Mr. P.V. Janardhan Rao, who's the General Manager and Chief Technology Officer at Canara Bank. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us today. Mr. Prabhakar, let me start with you. It's been about 2 years since your amalgamation with Syndicate Bank. What's the experience been like? What are some of the synergies that have come out? Some of the lessons for the industry to adopt, especially at a time now when we're seeing more mergers and consolidation for the financial world?
I think the amalgamation process was very smooth because of 2 reasons. Canara Bank, Syndicate Bank, both are incorporated in Karnataka. And both the banks have a significant presence in Karnataka. Syndicate Bank used to have about 800 branches. Canara Bank used to have about 1,000 branches in Karnataka. Culturally, we are same. Customers almost common to us. And technology is also same. So this has given us a very good leverage to complete the amalgamation process in a shortest possible time, that is in 9 months. And during amalgamation, we have taken care about 2 things. One is customer satisfaction, customer grievances, and the other thing is satisfaction of my employees. Generally, people think that after amalgamation, vacancies will come down, opportunities will be less. But in Canara Bank, we proved it different. There are more promotions, more avenues, and customers got more benefits, more limits, more products they could enjoy because of the amalgamation. And really, the synergy effects in Canara Bank after amalgamation of Syndicate Bank with Canara Bank were tremendous. And one thing which I can say is regarding the operating profit, which at the time of amalgamation, which was about 12,800 crores, today it is 23,000 crores. So I am satisfied that we could do justice to the amalgamation.
Mr. Patel, let me come to you on that one because, at IBM, you have this global perspective of working with banks around the world. Technology is no longer, just, an option for banks anymore. It's sort of all pervasive, like we were talking about, and it's become a differentiator for banks for the ones that are doing well and the ones perhaps that are lagging behind. What are some of the trends that are emerging in this field that you've observed?
So
I'll talk about four key trends. Right? One is uh, along the lines of what Prabhakar talked about, which is pervasive digitization in the banking space. And just to give you a couple of data points, uh, I think there's a recent survey I saw that said that over 60% of next-gen millennials today, they are ready to move to a totally digital banking space, and which is giving rise to a lot of newer banking options that people are coming up with. So this is something which it's a phenomenon that's happening. Now, what that is also leading to is in that digitization, how do you, as Mr. Prabhakar also said about uh, getting to better customer service, how do you get to personalized service? There's another data point that I've seen recently which says that about by 2024, about 30% of all banks will be using some form of responsible and relevant personalization in the right way to use it as a competitive differentiation to actually gather more clients and so on. So that whole notion of digital banking and doing it with the end client in mind and customer in mind, that is huge. The second one is we've also seen the whole phenomenon of digital payments that is all over the place. I think India has actually been at the forefront of that. But that is one of the areas also which I think banks need to continue to stay ahead of, because that is going to become more and more pervasive. The third area, which I think becomes a very important uh, underlying factor, is resilient operations. So this is operations where you actually use data analytics, artificial intelligence. There's another data point that I'd seen recently where it was over 50+% of it was saying that by a certain point you will have banks that will be using artificial intelligence and others to actually monitor anti-money laundering kind of functions and others on an ongoing basis. The other thing which is related to that is the security posture, the cyber security posture that banks will have to manage. I think Asia, in the latest cyber threat report and others that have come out, Asia is one of the most attacked, and 70% of those attacks are in banks. So how you actually manage security and fraud prevention and others, that becomes very important. And then the last one, which is I think we are seeing this phenomenon of this whole being environmentally conscious. So the notion of responsible banking, that is going to become more and more relevant in terms of how are you using your banking operations to both support environmental issues and so on, but also how you are, you know, working with your customers and others so that they actually see you as an environmentally responsible banker in terms of your, whether your lending operations are actually helping to reduce carbon credits and so on. Those are the themes that are coming up, which will have a bearing on technology. So these are sort of four broad themes, which I think we are going to see them become more and more relevant beyond sort of the digitization in banking.
Okay, Mr. Patel, thank you for giving us that macro view, but let me zoom in again to Canara Bank and your financial performance. And that's because after a long period, Canara Bank has been able to declare dividends. So tell us about what went into it, how you were able to improve your performance, and what are the lessons for the industry to take from here?
I can say two things which are mainly responsible for this good performance. First one is the involvement of my staff, from sub-staff level to the top management level. Everyone has contributed, and we have executed the schemes and the strategy very effectively so that the results are visible with minimum efforts. Other point is, after amalgamation, the synergy effect of a Syndicate Bank and Canara Bank has resulted in excellent growth. And the most important point is the technology which we are leveraging has also helped us in improving the business. In the last 2 years, if you see the figures, yes, Canara Bank has done very well. Our aim is to take care about our staff and also to take care about our investors. That was our main aim. After 2016-17, Canara Bank and Syndicate Bank have not paid any dividend. So we were very eager and very interested at the earliest possible time
To turn this around.
turn it around and also to pay the dividend to the investors. So board has approved about 65% dividend, and in the AGM, once it is approved, we will be distributing the dividend to our investors.
How important are partnerships? When it comes to leveraging technology, how important are partnerships? What role do they
I mean,
play?
I think we live in a digitally connected ecosystem today. So partnerships are a part of the equation. I mean, whether there are two banks that are amalgamating and coming together, or whether there are technology partners. I mean, any bank, including Canara Bank, they have multitude of technology partners, and all of us have to actually work together to ultimately deliver value to the bank and to the end customer. So I think ecosystem partnerships are a way that are going to become, a differentiator and a success factor for anyone and any industry in the world to come.
All right, on that note, Mr. Patel and Mr. Prabhakar, we have to thank you both for being with us. The rest of you, I'll request you to stay on so we can continue our conversation. Welcome back to our special show, The Leadership Code, in partnership with IBM, where we're in conversation with the top management of Canara Bank on their leadership lessons. Mr. Brishmohan Sharma, let me come to you on that note, because we've gotten the macro picture. We've gotten how the bank has grown since the amalgamation and otherwise, and we've got some sense of the recovery and NPA management as well. Let me ask you now about specifics. Housing is a big area of growth for the bank as well, and of course is doing well for the industry. How has been the bank's performance there?
The core area of the bank is credit. You see, our credit portfolio is well diversified, where our RAM credit is 57% and the retail credit is 43%. Going forward, we are going to maintain this equation with more inclination towards the retail credit, because our focus is on horizontal expansion with the de-risking of balance sheet. So last year, YOY, we reflected a credit growth of 9.51% in retail portfolio. And in retail too, our more focus is on housing loan, where our YOY growth is 14.77%. So retail credit will continue to be our attraction. For that purpose, last year we have set up 242 retail asset hub, pan India. Now they are well settled. They will be the business drivers in retail credit going forward. So each retail asset hub, they will monitor 40 to 50 branches. So they will be driver not only in ensuring the advance, quantum of advance, but they will also ensure the quality of credit as well as credit discipline. Because we want to ensure credit discipline also, vis-a-vis credit quality and quantum of advance. So going forward, we have given a guidance note of, you can say 12% in the retail credit portfolio and 16% to 18% in the housing loan portfolio.
Mr. Raju, let me ask you about some of the digital trends that are shaping the banking and financial services industry today. Of course, Mr. Patel highlighted some of the emerging trends, but in the digital space specifically, what has been your experience? What are the newer technologies?
Now, during those last 2 years, customers have started opting for their business transactions. The digital journey they started opting. That has resulted our multiplication of our e-transactions. Our e-transactions are increased from 158 crore in the previous financial year. Yes, to the last year, it has almost touched 244 crore. And our branch walk-ins for cash withdrawals have reduced from 13% to 7.5%.
Okay.
So to give more and more comfort to the customers, we have created one e-passbook, one app that is public apps in App Store. This is the highly rated among the public sector all apps, so that the customer need not come to know about their transactions or any passbook printing and all. At the same time, we also offered an online account opening, that's in Canara Diya, so that with video KYC facility. That has helped the people need not come to the branch, so that they can, if the people who wants to open the accounts, they can open on online also. This has resulted last 1 year, we have onboarded almost 5 million new customers, our existing customers into a mobile banking app.
Okay.
More than 3 million people have opted for internet banking, and more than 6 million people have opted for UPI onboarded. But because the Canara Bank is having 60% of its presence in rural and semi-urban, moving towards the digital
there is a bigger challenge.
India, there the digital challenge is there. But when we understand that in India, 9 out of 10 people are using the net users, they are using in vernacular language. That has helped us in focusing on those areas, and we started encashing that BEAM QR code. That is in banking sector. So far, it's only private operators are using whatever the private operators are. So far, no bank has taken any initiations, but we have taken a lot of
services in vernacular languages.
And we have started creating that, distributing that QR codes in the rural and semi-urban areas. Last 6 months, we have almost distributed more than 6 lakh QR codes in those areas. It has contributed to the bank for more than 2,000 crores CASA. The turnovers have increased almost 9,000 crores in those accounts because of that QR code. Then in addition to that, actually we want to go ahead with several initiatives. We have invested in the first year almost 1,035 crores during the amalgamation on the technology. Last year, with the support of the board and our top management, we invested 840 crores. And this year again, we are focusing not only the 200 crores is only for the digital lending, but we are aiming for our capital budgeting is, the board has already approved almost 1,400 crores for investing on the technology.
In this financial year?
In this financial year, that is so.
You know, we've spoken about housing, we've spoken about retail strategies, but overall, now that the economy is coming back from the shock of the pandemic over the last 24 months, what are some of the segments of growth for the bank? If you could give us a more bird's eye view.
You see, as Mr. Sharma has just now told you about the distribution of our credit into RAM and corporate. So RAM is around 57%, 43% is corporate. Now, amongst the corporate, what Canara Bank's strategy is, and we have been maintaining that strategy for quite some time, that we go in for higher rated corporates. And by doing that, as on March, in our books of corporates, we have more than 77% A and above rated accounts. We have given trust to growth of infrastructure sector in our books, petrochemical sector in our books, hospitality sector, hospitals, health sector, healthcare sectors. So these are our, and NBFC of course. With regard to NBFC, let me again add here that so far as NBFC sector is concerned in our books, out of standard assets, 99% is rated A and above. So it is a book which is very strong right now, NBFC. So this is how we propose to grow. These are the sectors and other sectors as well. But of course, keeping in mind the government thrust on infrastructure, our bank has also increased the infrastructure book during the last 1 year or so.
Okay, Mr. Majumdar, let me bring you in on that note, and thank you for being patient to meet some of these ambitions, the kind of growth that the leadership is outlining. What is the capital position of the bank? I know we've talked about how the bank has raised money from QIB, Tier 1 bonds, etc. But how comfortable are you on capital front?
Our bank is very comfortable as far as capital position goes. As you know, as on 31/3/22, our CRAR was 14.90. And that has improved from 13.81 to this position in a year's time. And that was possible because of internal accruals of around 4,450 crores of profit, net of dividend. It is post-payment of dividend. And 9,000 crore, which Mr. Mukherjee said we have raised during the year in the form of QIP, 81 bonds and Tier 2 bonds. So this 14.90% of capital CRAR, which is the capital adequacy, it gives us enough headroom to grow the business in the medium term. And with the economic activity going back to normal, that is almost to pre-COVID levels, we expect the business to grow many-fold this year, and so is the profit, which will add to the capital and will provide adequate capital for the growth.
What are some of the new-age technologies that the bank is adopting, whether it is AI, blockchain, cloud, etc., that are helping this kind of transformation?
So we are using even blockchain, for multiple other purposes. I'll give you some example. We recently tested our IMPS recon system along with NPCI using blockchain technology, which is one of the state-of-the-art technology which is recently used. The only difference here in blockchain kind of technology is that it requires a proper ecosystem to be built. So you cannot use a blockchain technology on your own because it is distributed processing.
Okay, blockchain and cloud is where the future lies in. Mr. Rao, if you could come in on this, on what role it plays in assisting the sector overall, if you had some sense in meeting some of the changing customer expectations.
So a lot of customer expectation is addressed in our technology. So we have done way back, we have done customer related requirements like direct crediting of 0.5% to a senior citizen without coming to the branch. You can just, you need not worry on the day of doing the EOD itself, system will automatically credit 0.5% to the customer. Way back we have done, and when RBI has come out with the customer protection guidelines, so we are I think we are the first bank to introduce the this one, like if a customer feels that a transaction is not done by him, he can send a message saying that suspect 256161, which will block all the accounts related to that particular mobile number. So these are some of the customer centric. Beyond that, we have been doing many customer centric this thing for in that taking care of the technology aspects, like as our VD sir has told about the new mobile banking app which is going to take care, and even we are going to come out with our new internet banking facilities, and also API banking, which is going to be for companies and other things. We can directly relate it to the ERP solution of those companies with our direct CBS.
Okay, when we speak about all of these things digital, and Mr. Rao, let me bring you in finally on this as well. Data privacy, data security concerns for customers, how are those being addressed by Canara Bank?
Yeah, first of all, madam, here 3 parts. One is our employees side, having the knowledge. Second is the infrastructure providers, it may be IBM or whatever, whoever is providing the security features inside it. And the other side, users are the consumers. So for consumers, we regularly provide either in social media or on our website about the awareness, either on password or whatever changes are happening or whatever hackers issues are happening, whatever spam things are happening. We'll continuously provide the educative series. Similarly, as our colleagues have mentioned, even employees also, we keep them learning. It's a regular habit on digital products.
Continuously upgrading their skills also.
And also, whenever we take the new either software or the hardware, what are the security features? And we have a strong SOC center, security operating center, headed by CISO, who takes care. All clearances will be given by us before moving to any new product or any new technology that are well built. In addition to that, whatever government or Reserve Bank of India provides, those security aspects we take care from continuously on time to time basis.
All right. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts, all of you gentlemen, for being here and for taking time out. On that note, I thank all of you for being here, and we have to wrap up this special discussion. Thank you so much for watching.
That was quite an engaging discussion, and I hope our audience had some good takeaways from how Canara Bank is one of the leaders in the industry in implementing technology to better business, better profitability, and to better customer experience. Well, that's all the time we have for you today, but we have more coming up. Stay tuned to CNBC-TV18 as we'll be bringing you more such conversations with industry veterans on Leaders Code. Thank you for watching and take care.